And welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I'm your host, Nathan Ragland, and for today's episode, as we inch closer to Halloween night, I present with you all a bewitching conversation with a fantastic guest, providing such an enticing and magical adventure that I know you guys are going to absolutely love. Today's guest is Mike, better known as TheStarArts, a webcomic artist and animator introducing the world to the fantastical coming-of-age comic Simply Witchtastic. Mike is someone that I have been keeping eyes on for a while because of a connection that we will be discussing in the episode itself. But regardless, seeing what Mike has been able to do and what he's got planned up for what's next, I knew I had to get him on to talk about it and then some, especially with the fun subject matter of the magical whimsy witches that you'll see us discuss throughout the episode. If you enjoy our guest, please make sure you support him with the links down in the description below, especially by checking out the webtoons to see the prologue for Simply Witchtastic. Actually, I recommend you guys check out that prologue before watching this episode, but if you want to wait till afterwards, that's fine too. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer, as well as potentially checking out the merch shop or checking out our Discord server, among many other things. Or if you want to help me and maybe even some of my friends out, why don't you check out the stream that we're doing this weekend for the Sleep Deprivers? This Sunday, October 26th at 4 p.m. EST, 1 p.m. PST, a bunch of our former guests of the podcast, as well as myself and some friends as well, are all getting together to help raise some money for our trip to MagFest. We have a major trip that we're planning this January to go up to Baltimore and enjoy the festivities that are going on up there. And we're just hoping that if you guys have the time and the ability to, you can help donate to make sure that we have some funds to make sure that we can, get groceries and stuff like that along the way. If the thought of that alone doesn't entice you, we do have some stretch goals. We have some goals, milestones that we could hit, as you'll see on the screen right now. And honestly, these are all looking very enticing, at least to me. So, if you want to help us out, have a fun adventure come January, as well as enjoy just a good, fun, quality time, join us again, October 26th, 4 p.m. EST, 1 p.m. PST on Ripstud's Twitch channel. The link to that will be in the description below. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Seriously, bud.
No problem.
Yeah, I know you're someone that I've been itching to get on the podcast at one form or another. I've just been waiting for you to be ready with it. And, because I imagine you obviously want to have something out there to talk about rather than just hypotheticals, more or less.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's still some hypothetical, but it's going to be fun hypothetical,
At this point, the entire story is done, so...
Oh, okay. I mean, we'll definitely touch upon that.
Writing-wise.
Yeah.
So.
We'll definitely touch upon that when we actually get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation to get that pizzazz going. And I will say, you better be thanking Aiden a million times over for recommending you to me in the first place. I mean, obviously,
100%.
I mean, obviously, like, they're your boy at this point, but still, regardless, like, just like, okay, I've been wondering this for like a long time. How the fuck did you two even meet up in the first place?
Through a there's a YouTuber called Remy Raccoon.
Okay, yeah, I remember Aiden talking about them at some point.
And I was in their Discord server posting art, and they were in the Discord server posting art.
That makes sense. And so art friends become buddies, and boom.
Yeah, just art mutuals just became friends, and then here we are.
Ironically enough, that's a very similar story about how me and Aiden become buddies as well. Except instead for Remy Raccoon, it was JC the Caster. That was like our connection.
Yeah.
And I remember it was just one of those days to where, like, he had just announced, like, hey, I'm going to be popping in Discord servers recording stuff. And so I just, like, popped in the server. Aiden started chatting with me, noticing the fact that my name had art in it and was wondering, if I was an artist. It just became to the point where now that man is my brother from an Aussie mother.
Hell yeah.
Like seriously, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that little gremlin more than anything else for all that they've done. I mean, obviously, I imagine whenever we actually get to talking or whatnot, like we're gonna at least bring him up more than anything else because I don't see why not.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if I remember correctly, I think didn't they actually help you out with some of like your animations and stuff, or am I thinking of someone else?
Yes. Yes. Aiden helped out coloring my
There
grand
you
film.
go.
That's
there
what it
you,
was. Yeah.
there you go. All right, Mike. Before we really do get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may. Let's say you get to go to a deserted island on your own accord. It's just you alone with your thoughts. You get to kick back, relax, breathe, you can truly enjoy yourself for a little bit, with accommodations. I shouldn't say deserted island, more like a personal B&B paradise away from society for a little bit, on a different island than the one you're currently stuck on. To make sure you don't go completely insane on this island, you can bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help with whatever kind of headspace you want on this island. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
One piece of media or one piece of art?
Mm-hmm. Whatever you consider media or art, anything under that umbrella is fair game.
Okay. So it can be anything from like a movie or to like a...
Yep, movie, TV show, video game, book, comic series, all the above.
Okay. It's a lot of choices. I will have to probably say... So this is like a accommodation spot just to keep me occupied.
Yeah, exactly. Like only like temporary. You're here as long as you want. Like you can leave at any point. All that pizzazz.
One of those like giant like pinball machines.
Ooh, that's an answer I don't think anyone has ever said.
Or like a classic arcade cabinet.
Right. Oh my god. Again, no one has ever said that answer, but by God, it is a good answer. I mean, is there any particular reason why that's the one piece you want to bring on the island with you?
Yeah, well, the regular idea would just be like bringing like a game console, but this is like an island.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to be like on my screen on a nice looking island.
Exactly.
I want to at least feel like doing something that's kind of like out of the ordinary that I wouldn't usually do, and that's pinball machine.
There you go. Honestly, that is extremely valid. Plus, depending on which kind of pinball machine you do get, like, have you seen like some of the different like varieties and different styles of pinball machines that are out there more than anything else?
Yeah.
Probably
the Simpsons one.
I mean, that's a good default one more than anything else. Like, you can't go wrong with the Simpsons. With the amount of times that the Simpsons have been brought up on this podcast, you can't go wrong with Simpsons. But regardless, a pinball machine. That is your answer. You're locking that in.
Yep, I'm locking that in.
Then if that's the case, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You look fantastic in the merch that we have at the merch shop, fourthwall.com. Link to that is in the description below. And follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and most social media platforms at Postmod Art Pod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. He is a webcomic artist and animator, introducing the world to the fantastical coming-of-age comic Simply Witchtastic. Welcome to the podcast, Mike, a.k.a. TheStarArts!
Hello!
Hello! I don't know why, but that gave me the vibes of the fucking, what's his name? The little store owner dude from Frozen. Big Summer Blowout.
Yeah.
Big Summer Blowout.
Hello, Big Summer Blowout.
There you go, exactly. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, thanks.
No, thank
Grandiose opening. I don't know I could like follow it up with anything as enthusiastic.
Look, anytime I bring a guest on this podcast, I want to make sure that I amplify just how incredible of an artist that they either are or could potentially be, and especially with you, with some of the stuff that you've been able to put out there, especially the webcomic that we are definitely going to be talking about, Simply Witchtastic. Like, even though there's only the prologue, just a little taste, I already have a sense of how incredible and fantastical it could be, and I'm so excited to talk about that and so much more with what you could be putting out there. But before we talk about the stuff you're doing nowadays, I want to go back just a little bit and learn more or less the origin story of Mike. What got you interested in art and animation and webcomics and stuff in the first place?
Um. Okay. Awesome. I when I was a wee little man,
Mm-hmm.
basically, I'd go to so you'd have like these like fancy little like DVD menus
Oh
on
yeah,
movies and stuff. One of the most popular examples is the Shrek 2 one.
classic.
Um, I was enthralled by the Shrek 2 DVD so much that I would rewatch that probably more times than the movie, which is very funny. Um, that I can almost quote it. However, some of the best parts of DVDs is the bonus features, and
Yes.
that includes the behind the scenes, how they made the films, and I was like obsessed with how people made films. I'd watch almost all behind the scenes like footage, outtakes, bloopers, cast recording lines, and just like most importantly, just like how people actually animated the film. I kind of found like, damn, this is so cool. There's like all these like people that go into this movie, and, like they make it and stuff.
Oh yeah. No, no, trust me. I was gonna say, like, look, you're speaking directly to my own childhood as well, like growing up, because I was literally the same exact kid. I was the kind of person that anytime we would get a movie, I would be more intrigued to watch the bonus features before I even watched the movie itself. That's how much I love that kind of stuff. For me, for you, it was Shrek 2, which is completely understandable. For me, it was Monsters Inc. And like the little menu that they have for that, and like the little behind the scenes, like the play test that they, or not the play test, like the animation tests that they would have of like the original designs from Mike and Sully and such. Like that was for me what Shrek 2 was for you, and it's both completely
Hell
valid.
yeah.
They don't make that stuff, like they don't do that like that anymore these days. Like, unfortunately, because of streaming and all that BS the way it is or whatnot, they don't make it like they do anymore, and
No, you don't.
I miss it. I
You
miss it
don't
so
get
much.
fun like DVD menus anymore. You kind of just have to scour online for behind the scenes stuff after the movie's well been put out.
Yeah. And so I imagine being exposed to that kind of behind the scenes, like just seeing so much of it, was that what kind of more or less motivated you to be like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, honestly, hey, no, honestly, extremely valid more than anything else. It's like, it's one thing to always like see how it's done, but it's another thing to actually like take the chance and do it or whatnot. So I'm curious for you, when did it go from like a love and appreciation and something you consider doing to a passion wanting to make it your career? Like, when did you take that next step of being like, okay, I see how they do it, now let me do it?
Um, I started actually, so I basically was drawing my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But up until about, I think, yeah, uh, high school,
Mm-hmm.
like basically start of high school was when I really started like getting like super into this is the career that I choose with visual communication design
Okay.
classes. So
those those classes are always like very helpful, like going from, again, oh, this looks cool, to, oh, this is actually what it's like. I see. Interesting. um
my school had animation classes as well, which was like something like completely unheard of for most schools.
Right. No, I'll say, look, look,
Um,
look. I'm over here in America, and I unfortunately, and the high school that I went to, it was like a, out in the middle of the country, like middle of nowhere. So like to even consider an animation class in the school that I went to is completely wild. We obviously had like the arts, and for me, like I was in all the
yeah,
art classes. I was in like yearbook club and that kind of stuff. But like animation, really, that's a thing.
yeah, we used like Adobe Flash, and I made like funny little like um stick figure animations.
Hey,
you see.
hey, we all gotta start somewhere. And look, you laugh about that, but do you see how impressive some of these stick figure animations can be these days?
Oh yeah. I have a little like short film animation I did in high school.
Okay.
About in like year 11 or year 12. Basically the end of high school. For American folk out there. Because we have different schooling system from
Yeah,
what I remember.
it's vaguely the same because like for us, it's like we have kindergarten and then first through 12th. Like what like
Yeah.
like for us, it's like elementary school is like kindergarten first through fifth, and then middle school is 6, 7, 8, and then high school is 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, we just have primary and secondary school.
Exactly.
And then kindergarten. Like before, yeah. So it's still 1 through 12. I think it's named differently.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's really what it is. I don't know why it's so convoluted and ridiculous like that, but I mean, if it gives more people jobs, screw it.
Yeah. I made So I made it like my first ever short film in high school. And we had something called like we had like a rip off Oscars. And an animation I made with a good friend of mine, like just we won the thing, and I've still got like this little like fake Oscars nominee Golden Globe thing. It's like, oh, the best animated thing. I'm like, hell yeah. It is a very crazy like Groundhog's Day short animation.
Okay.
That's really quotable. There's one line that we grabbed another friend to record, just one line.
Okay.
No, two lines that were very quotable when I showed my newer friends. I'm going like, hey, like my animation friends from university.
Yeah.
Basically showing them this animation, and it became like a massive quote of just one of my friends in this animated project that I did in high school just going, "That's my chicken." This like old lady at a grocery store.
That's my chicken.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh goodness.
Great. This hilarious quote. Very funny.
Oh, I think I can attest for a lot of people is for those that got into any sort of filmmaking, let alone animation or whatnot. We all have that one line that we look back and we can't help but laugh at it no matter what, how ridiculous it was. Well, oh jeez, I'm just thinking back now to all the college films that I did or whatnot, and all the ridiculous lines that I had in there in one form or fashion. Well, also, I have to ask, please tell me that this legendary animated film is somewhere out there in the ethers of the internet, because we all need to see it at some point.
It is not, unfortunately. It is that old. It is on some like old rusty USB somewhere in my room.
Oh, wow. Well, in that case, I think you need to start digging. I need you to unearth it, send it to me, and I will put it right here. No, I'm joking. Also,
I'll have to gain permission from my other friend who worked on it before we do that.
Right. Also, I love how you were talking about like the fake Oscar thing or whatnot, because I can't help but think of 1 minute, this little beauty that I happen to have right here, my own little personal fake Oscar.
Okay,
right?
It is literally one of those.
Yeah,
like almost like and like exactly one of those.
Yep. I got this for being part of the American Youth Film Festival Best in Show College of 2019. Yep, 2019. Keep that in mind, folks. I'll set this right.
2019.
Yeah, what could have possibly happened after that? No one could really know. You're going over here. There you go. Anyway,
Next to Ragatha.
Yeah, we gotta have Ragatha. You can't tell me Ragatha is not an award winner. All right, like absolutely
True.
No, but it's one of those like I'm also an expert on fake Oscars myself. Check out the Posty Awards. Go through the videos. No, but like it's really fun to know that like that love and passion got you to a point to where like, especially when you had the opportunity in like high school and such, like you got the chance to really express it, and now here you are, which is funny because I'm talking to you right now. You're still like really, you're still in animation school, correct? Or are you still in college or whatnot? Really, like,
I actually graduated 2 years ago,
oh, you should.
so
Oh, well, now I feel like a. Sorry, rude of me to assume. I feel so bad
that's
now.
all good.
Okay, but even then, regardless, like you're fresh out of animation school. There you go. I can say that instead.
Yeah.
No, but it's like it must be really cool. I imagine, especially once you got the chance to really explore that field in one form or fashion. First, with obviously doing that stuff in high school, but then getting into college and fully dedicating yourself to that field. Was it more or less kind of what you were hoping for, what you were expecting when you first fell in love with the art form in the first place?
Yeah, it was. It was like really like eye-opening that I actually like, and like such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
That I finally like got to the point where I was. Um, I was just like very happy to like also meet like very like-minded people.
Oh yeah.
Um, and just like spend time with all these like just other artists who basically share the same passion as I am. And although I haven't done like a big animation project since graduating, um, there's like there's projects in my head that
Oh yeah.
that I want to come to fruition soon. Because I've got that experience now, and I should do this stuff. It's just that animation takes a long time.
Oh, absolutely. No one is expecting you to come out of college and like fast track like every single animation idea that you have. All right.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you're not both fast enough to do that kind of stuff, nor cheap enough to use AI to make that stuff a reality. Thank God.
God for that.
Yeah, thank God for that. But however, I appreciate the fact that like again you have that kind of excitement to want to like tell so many different stories. I can only imagine the wealth of different stories that you want to tell. I imagine part of the reason, the part of the way you're able to tell some of these stories, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I believe our good friend and also a producer of the podcast, Aiden Arts, shout out to him. I believe D&D is a major aspect of you when it comes to being able to tell certain stories and tell certain ideas and get them out there. Am I right in assuming that?
Yes. D&D really pushes my my love for storytelling. I went straight into homebrew, like
Okay.
just balls deep into homebrew. Because I'm like I ain't reading no like pre-made book. I'm doing my own thing. Like
Screw the guidelines. I'm making
like,
my own guidelines.
I read the manuals, and I read the GM player handbook, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna make my own story.
All right, bet.
Instead of spending like $20 on Curse of Strahd. So I made a my first ever thing was a Persona inspired short campaign that lasted about 20 sessions.
Goodness.
Is it Persona the game?
No, yeah, I figured like Persona 5 or 3, whichever
Yeah.
that the legendary Atlas franchise. There we go.
Yeah, pretty much. So I started as that, and then I'm like, okay, I want to do just like fantasy straight up. So I made a campaign that ran for about 3.5 years.
Jesus.
Consistently every Sunday. Yeah, I make long form.
No,
D&D
I
campaign.
I applaud the dedication more than anything else. Goodness.
Fully done story with like characters and arcs and like all that stuff. And I made a it was steampunk fantasy.
Ooh.
Called A Clockwork Legacy, and it is the people I got to hang out with every single Sunday made that hilarious. There was so much stuff Apparently, I'm really good with psychological horror, as told by all of them.
Oh, lovely. Just
Shout out to Worms in a Can.
I was gonna say, yeah, wonderful that we're talking about horror and stuff like that in the time that is October, aka the spooky month. I think it's the perfect time to bring up how well it is.
Indeed. There was like a sitcom episode where they got like, I say episode, it was a session, but
Right,
it was an episode. There was a session where they got like, basically, was it enchanted by a mermaid, like slash siren?
Ooh.
And they started hallucinating all of them in a classic 80s sitcom, and I went full on with it. I had a soundboard with laugh tracks.
Yes.
With like Family Guy establishing shot some music. You know, the yeah. And just like full on, just yeah, cracking jokes like just a sitcom episode.
Yep.
That's amongst one of the most memorable things I did in that campaign. For a lot of them.
Well, I'm curious, especially hearing, like, obviously seeing how much you love D&D. What is it about D&D that kind of creatively gets you going? Like, what is it about D&D that makes you want to, like, put your, you know, like you had said, go balls deep into it and just, like, go all in when it comes to the storytelling and stuff like that?
I think it's just like player expression.
Okay.
You never know what's going to come next.
Yes.
Especially if you're a DM. And that kind of just like pushes my want to just like make a story that like people can enjoy, that my friends can enjoy. And just like the improvisation also just like definitely helps.
Oh yeah.
Because you never know when a player's just gonna throw a complete curveball at you, which drastically changes what you prepped like 3 weeks prior, by just one simple action. So I kind of have to plan around trying to figure out what my people, like what the players know. Sometimes I'll like plan out like the story to go a certain way, and I'll be like, okay, so what if a person asks this, and what if a person asks this, and what if a person asks that, and I gotta like weave in these like sort of like sub branches of the session to know. And then we get to the session and someone asks, oh, can I beat him up with a frying pan? And that was never there. And I'm like, okay, god damn it.
That's the beauty that I love about hearing stories about D&D more than anything else. Is like you have the logical options. Like you think, okay, they could potentially ask this when given this problem, or you got this one or whatnot. But then you have just the completely oddball out of left field. Can I beat the shit out of this guy with a frying pan? And you're just like, roll for initiative.
Yeah. Last session, we spent about 10 to 15 minutes. It was last Sunday on a new campaign that we're doing.
Okay.
Last Sunday, we spent about 15 minutes contemplating the livelihood and lifehood of a fish that has been stapled to a door.
I have several questions. First and foremost, why is a fish stapled to a door?
You'll have to ask one of my players why a fish is stapled to a door, because not even I know.
Okay, so that was not something that you had set up beforehand. That was just something okay. Why were they contemplating? Why were they even thinking about stapling a fish to the door in the first place?
Because okay, so apparently the fish was there because it was to signal to the rest of the party that player had built a like accommodation home in that spot, and the only way they are a fish person. They're basically like half like fish, half human, like humanoid fish.
Right.
Jellyfish to be specific.
Okay.
Think why did I think Shark Tale?
No. Okay, legitimately, you joke about that. That was the vision that was coming to my mind as well. Like how they illustrated the jellyfish people in Shark Tale.
Yeah. They're like I found a home to me in DMs. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, and they're like, guide the players here. And what I didn't know coming was just like signals of dead fish just randomly everywhere, just like a fish on the in the middle of the road that they had to follow that was pointing west, or like, and then the obvious fish attached to the nailed to the door,
Yeah, so
because
obvious.
they're like, this is where I am. Like, this is and
Oh.
then one of the characters was like, why is there a fish nailed to a door? What is go?
Again, I cannot. I've only had a couple of D&D DMs on this podcast, but every single time I hear about them talking about just the ridiculousness that their players come up with when it comes to this scenario, I always love to hear like just how off the rails it could potentially go. I will say, if you have not watched this episode, I recommend you go and watch a episode by Fairbanks VT that I had with them. Just their experience. I remember I'm butchering this, but I remember they had planned this like giant epic battle when it came to like this dragon in this fantasy realm, and like a small, I want to say like goblin player was just straight up like, I want to punch the dragon in the nose.
Yeah.
Rolled nat 20, something that was gonna be like 3 weeks long or whatnot, just dead in an instant.
Pretty much. That's like the way it goes.
Yep. But I also imagine, like, for you, not only is it cool, it like, especially creatively, it's good to not only like set up the stories, but especially when it comes to the improvisation that comes to the players or whatnot, figuring out different ways to maybe tell the story or how to send the story in a certain direction that you may not even consider first and foremost in the first place. That's a good, like, writer's practice more than anything else. Like thinking of different scenarios that are outside of what even you considered.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely. And I also appreciate the fact that you touched upon how with one of these campaigns, like the more recent ones or whatnot, you decided to delve a little bit more into the fantastical, the fantasy elements, more or less. What is it about fantasy that kind of leads you going there when it comes to, where you creatively feel comfortable?
There's just a lot that you can do with fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my favorite fantasy stuff has to got to do with like um just like the whimsicalness of it.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot you can portray. And it also leads to a lot of really good story devices. Um, just like all the like different kinds of like sort of like fantasy adjacent races, elves, gnomes, uh, dwarves, just like everything. Um, it's just like it just adds, and like on top of that, just magic in
Yeah.
general is just cool, and you can do a lot of stuff with magic. Um, I also
It's legitimately is a very fun, like, creative sandbox for you to just go into and just delve, because you could literally make anything, just about anything, happen in fantasy.
exactly. And like you can say the same with sci-fi. I
Oh
also
yeah.
like do enjoy sci-fi as well. For entirely different reasons. Um, but yeah, fantasy is generally like something that's like a lot more sandboxy, as you said.
Yeah.
It just like it just adds. You can just add so much to it. I also just love elves.
Yep.
In general. They're some of my favorite media, including elves,
Okay.
is just like related to like cherishing memories because they live so long. They outlive so many like humans and other races that you can really just like tell a story about just like enjoying life
Oh yeah.
through the perspective of an elf who lives so long. They don't really like think about that. So they kind of like act selfless in the way that like they think about that in the like point of view of the people they spend time with rather than themselves, and I think that's just like a really good like thing. Just like, yeah, it's why Free Run is one of my favorite shows.
No, honestly, like that's extremely valid. Like especially with that again going back to the kind of the creative sandbox, especially with kind of the parameters that are set with the elves or whatnot. Like there is a lot of wisdom that you can extenuate with the elves, but there's also a lot of like innocence that you could extenuate with them as well. Like given kind of the environment or like you said, like the long lives that they live, like you can live 5 times as long as a human and have a completely different experience. You can have 20 different lifetimes in a single elven life
Yeah,
or whatnot. So there's a lot of stories that can be told through them in one form or fashion.
yeah,
I imagine it's elements like that that kind of lead into again going back to some of the stories that you do want to tell. Like I can only imagine some of the incredible elements, especially with some of the incredible magic that you have. It leads to at least the current most prominent piece of media that you've actually been able to put out there into the world, even though it's literally just a prologue for the time being. But I appreciate that fantasy element as well as some of the D&D stuff I imagine led to this incredible webcomic that you have just gotten out there and you're just starting on it called Simply Witchtastic. Now,
yeah.
now, for people that may have no idea what in the world I'm even talking about in the first place, how would you describe Simply Witchtastic?
Simply Witchtastic is basically a thing I've been working on since 2019, believe it or not. Heck,
Wow.
possibly even earlier, if we're like really counting just like straight up, just like the little concept like footnotes I just wrote into notepads.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story about people and their internal struggles, but also just in in okay, people about their internal struggles, but like also just like put through the lens of just a fantastical like um witch academy like inspired like modern fantasy world.
Yeah.
Um yeah. So it's it's about a girl who struggles with her like internal thoughts and just like stuff like that, and basically learning to figure out what she wants in life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, especially given what little we have or whatnot, the fact that you've already introduced so much, but yet given us so little is actually really impressive in a way. I'm curious. You said you've been developing this story since at least 2019. What was the exact
Yes.
inspiration? What was the exact? Yeah, wow. Words are wonderful, aren't they? No. What was the exact inspiration for this concept in the first place?
Okay. Basically, a lot of anime, Trigger, Studio Trigger,
Mm-hmm.
particularly one anime, Little Witch Academia, which is
Okay.
a very fun, like, witching show. And just other media that's like sort of like magical girl esque.
Yeah.
It started off as magical girl, and then it like
Uh,
sort of like transformed into something else. Some inspirations is like Madoka Magica,
okay.
Sailor Moon, like just some of the like the classics. Um, Little Witch Academia or something else. And it's also uh, I as a kid loved Harry Potter uh before Rowling,
Yeah,
um
before the black mold took over. I get it.
before the black mold took over. um Basically like um that is to say the movies do like still like a nice place in my heart,
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
for like the whimsicalness of them. And I guess like it's also like that sort of modern fantasy setting is based around Harry Potter.
Yeah,
um where it's like modern day, but like obviously you've still got like witches and magic and stuff. Um, I've had friends tell me Simply Witchtastic is like it's just Harry Potter without the transphobia. So
I mean, to be fair, especially when one of the first panels that you have showing is our main character with a bisexual flag, like on their wall or
Yes.
whatnot. Like, I think you're off to a really good start with emphasizing that.
I see you caught that.
Oh, of course I caught that. Look, I am a person that notices bisexual lighting out there in the wild, all right? So anytime I see a pride flag like that just hanging up on the wall, it's going to be easy for me to notice in one form or fashion, all right? Um, that was one of the things I certainly noticed right off the bat. Like, obviously there's the fantasy element, but the fact that you sort of incorporate it with like the modern setting as well, kind of, Potter-esque in a way, because obviously it was kind of set up like that. But like for you, was it important to make sure that this thing had that modern setting as well as the over the top fantasy elements to go along with it?
Yeah, that was always the intention. I kind
Okay.
of like the vibe of modern fantasy, just like modern day, like um, just modern day cultures, modern day things, integrate like as if like so all fantasy is usually like within the medieval times.
Yeah,
So
usually.
it's kind of like, what if that just kept progressing into the modern day?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, Witchtastic doesn't really have different races, or like it's basically our world if magic was introduced.
Right.
Uh, so there's not like like mostly fantastical creatures or anything. It's people like influenced by magic and how the world kind of like learn to adapt with an ecosystem of magic involved.
Okay. I can see how that certainly leads to elements that could be definitely talked about in future panels and future chapters more than anything else. But regardless, like even then with what little bit we have been able to see, like it's you already have me super intrigued with kind of Ilara's journey, the main character Ilara and her journey
Yeah.
into kind of more or less becoming that the witch that like her mother was or whatnot, or even better than that in one form or fashion. What was the development like when it came to like Alara? Like, how did you know that you had crafted just the perfect main character that you needed to for this story?
Um, I think she was like made about like I really wanted to tell a story about people finding who they are. And
Yeah.
I think like her like she's a perfect representation as someone who's gone through most of her life looking up to someone, but she can't she still doesn't know what she want to do. And there's people in the world that like still like they're like early adults and they still don't know like exactly what it is that they want. They
Right.
have passions, they have ideas, but they don't know where to go, and they're always relying. Ilara especially, she's always relying on um someone else to sort of like help her guide herself through. But a lot of the stories about her trying to figure that out for herself, what she wants to do, not what others want her to do,
Right.
or what she thinks she wants others for her to do. Especially, and a big part of this is her late mother, who passed away. And that's where kind of like also some of the Steven Universe inspiration comes from,
Yeah, that makes
with the
sense.
whole like Steven and Rose Quartz.
Yep.
That's a heavy inspiration. That sort of like um, daughter who child who never got like to spend a lot of time with their parental figure because of some like dire circumstances and all that stuff. So she kind of like has to rely on this idea of her mother, which she doesn't really know a lot about,
Okay.
but she still uses as a guiding like star towards um, her journey of like self discovery. And I think a lot of what makes her a great character in the story I want to tell is just I've put a little bit of me into this character.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's definitely moments of like my life where like I'll like, is this something I really want to do, or is this something like what exactly is it that I want to do? And I think it's like it's a feeling that practically pretty much everyone always thinks about. Like, and it can come in any stage of life.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone's always like confused. You think people have it like set in stone most of the time, but a lot of people just like are still figuring it out. And like the main character kind of like just reflects that sort of thing of just like self-discovery.
Oh no,
Um,
absolutely. I was gonna say, like, you say that last little bit, and like, there are people that are still trying to figure out what exactly they want to do. Look, I'm 29 years old, and I'm still trying to figure out what in the world I'm trying to do with my life. I thought I had it at one point. That's why I went to college for a certain thing. Fell out with that because I kept failing college and stuff like that. Here I am now, working a warehouse job, hosting a podcast on the side that I hope gets successful, and
hmm.
just trying to make it day by day at the end of the day. So like, yeah, that kind of struggle, especially with what Alara is dealing with at the end of the day, trying to more or less like trying to find her place, find out who she wants to be when all she's done is look up to others and see how they want her to be.
Yeah,
I mean, like, that pressure is always going to get to you no matter what. At any point of like any of that pressure of like someone expecting you to be a certain way, when at the end of the day you need to have that kind of discovery for yourself and realize this is who I want to be. This is how I want to live my life. That's a journey all its own, and that's one of the things that I guess I'm more or less excited about when it comes to Simply Witchtastic, as Alara is taking that step to really, become the witch that for all we know, that's what she wants to be. Like, taking those first steps. That's what has me so excited about Simply Witchtastic more than anything else. Like, again, you've only told us so little, but with what you've been able to present, it leaves me excited for whatever's going to be happening next, because
yeah.
there is a literal world of possibilities. Again, we're dealing with modern day, because it's like, what, 2007, I think it was, or whatnot.
It's 2007.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're dealing with 2007. We're dealing with magic in a modern setting or whatnot. Who knows where you could take this journey next?
Yeah, it's there's a lot to get through.
Oh yeah,
As I've said, the whole story is at this point been written out. It's just um actually drawing it now, which is very exciting to say.
yeah. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, it's one of those, again. It must be so exciting, but it also has to be such a task to finally get it out
Yes.
there. I cannot tell you the amount of artists I've had on this podcast talking about that issue. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time, I wouldn't be. If I had a nickel for every time an artist struggled to translate what they're thinking into what they want when it comes to a very specific story, I would not be working a warehouse job. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
But even then, like, I cannot tell you, again, with what little I have been able to see, like, how much I am loving the potential of the story more than anything else. Like, I could tell that Alora has a different kind of energy and a different kind of passion that is just waiting to be out there. I cannot tell you how much I just love her dad, like, just right off the bat. Like like I the funny thing is, I didn't even think about Steven Universe until you mentioned it, and now looking at the dad, I'm like, you just made Greg. You just made Greg.
It's just Greg
You
Universe. Yeah.
just made Greg. That's all you did. It, which again is not a bad thing. Greg was one of the coolest characters on Steven Universe. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Um,
Yeah.
it does leave me kind of curious as well. Like, what, like you said, you have the story at least written out in your head. You know how this is going to go down. What do you want to hope to get done with this as you continue to go down this path and continue to make Simply Witchtastic a possibility or a reality at this point?
Um I just hope that like, the message gets delivered like the way I want it to get delivered. It being my first like major story project
Mm-hmm.
outside of like D&D campaigns,
Right.
um leads a lot of, I guess, like that sort of like internal pressure of like I want to get this right. I want to like, tell this story. It like um I want it to reach. I want the at the very least the main character's journey to resonate with people um that are like struggling, this sort of thing. That's kind of the end goal, to sort of like speak with the people who may be going through the same issues as some of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the characters, it's not only just Alara. This is a story about people and their internal issues. Every character kind of has um, can be boiled down to a sentence of an internal issue,
Okay.
which is something that's kind of interesting that I thought I'd do. We all have those internal issues, those like voices in our head that the demons. There's like once in your life you're going to encounter one sentence that drives a drill into your head
Mm-hmm.
that gets you constantly thinking. And a lot of these characters basically can be boiled down to these thoughts. Um, and that's kind of like it's all their journeys into not like making peace with those voices.
Honestly, that's extremely valid. At the very least, if not at least make a piece that at least make it to where it's better to comprehend those voices more than anything else, and help it, I guess, in a way, kind of guide them towards the right direction in one form or fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, given again what I cannot emphasize this enough. With what little we have seen so far, I can only imagine like how far you could potentially go with this thing. Because for those that are out there, like I'm gonna have the link to the description of the webtoons for this and stuff like that. It's literally just the prologue, but even then, what's in that prologue speaks volumes to what we could expect for the rest of the story. Um,
Yeah.
because
You also see like I made sure to kind of like exemplify that sort of like struggle that Alara has of self discovery. Like in the prologue itself,
yeah,
you just see her like always like also like just like kind of like always double I guess like double guessing herself.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like double guessing herself, or like that always that little bit of hesitation in one form or fashion, kind of the wonder, like has that wandering eye in a way, not exactly full on focused on what she needs to do, just kind of wondering like what are they thinking, what's going on, huh? The eyes really do speak volumes more than anything else. um and I will also say, like, some of the settings and some of the backgrounds that you already have set up or whatnot. Like, for example, starting off with that whole entire like sleep starlight sequence or whatnot. That was a beautiful choice more than anything else. I love that sequence right off the
Yes.
bat. It was really stunning. And then to end it on the gorgeous shot of the entire castle or whatnot that Alar's gonna be going to.
Yeah.
C'est magnifique.
That like sort of like starry scape is something you'll be seeing a lot. It's
Oh.
essentially it's so you know how people it's quite literally the manifestation of sort of like a dream state or
Mm-hmm.
like a
Like a subconscious
how
state.
you know how people like daydream.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that manifestation of her own like
Okay.
mind and stuff like that. So you'll see it in different iterations
Okay. Okay.
depending on her general like, emotions and thoughts.
Okay. No, I again, just that little bit alone, it has me really intrigued. Also, I feel like it'd be fun to ask this question because if nothing else, it keeps people wanting to read more of it. Do you have a funny, out of context line that you could tell the audience right now that they should look forward to in any part of the future chapters? Just one out of context line that is like so ridiculous they'll hear and be like, huh? And then whenever they see it, they'll be like, oh.
Funny out of context line.
Yeah.
Huh. Um, let's see. Let me think. I wouldn't say funny.
Okay.
Sort of like a serious line.
Okay.
Um, I'd say something along the lines like a line that's kind of like kind of eerie and
Okay.
like creepy and just like you don't know. that would be the line, "Why so long, my battery?"
Ooh, interesting. Because that could lead to so many different things in one form or fashion. Because, like, I know you said it's serious and it's eerie or whatnot, but there could also be a funny context to it for all we know. Because, again, you have it written out, we just don't know when it's going to appear. But, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something that, you know what? If nothing else, the audience, there you go. If nothing else, definitely read the prologue, and then you got to keep coming back to figure out when that line shows up. All right? um, like even like it's really cool to know that going forward, like you're actually going forward to make that a reality, and you're making this a reality more than anything else. Because like I said, this is a tale that you've been tinkering with for years at this point.
Yes.
And
Amongst other projects, this is
yeah,
the biggest one.
like even getting the fact to where like you're finally able to make this a reality. Especially thinking about the fact that you're making this a reality and you're making your animator dreams a reality. Taking a step back and thinking of your art journey as a whole. Like, does it more or less surprise you how far you've been able to come along, considering the fact that, you know, you started off as this kid that just loved watching bonus features on DVDs and stuff like that, to here you are right now making this a reality?
Um, it's kind of hard to believe. I've made it this far. Um, there's a lot of like a lot of hiccups
Oh,
along the
yeah.
way. Just like just with art, just a really big up and down spiral. But like the fact that I'm here now and I'm doing and I know what I want is perfect. I think like just having like the animation knowledge that I'll be able to do not like animation of something, um possibly like just like and just having like the comic there as well as like sort of like that secondary storytelling passive like passive uh passion,
Mm-hmm.
um storytelling and art, so like two and two.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I'd be as much as a big writer as I am a an artist.
Right.
So and they really just complement each other. So
Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair, especially in the art world today, like you can draw a million different pieces, or you can put up any sort of random animation, but if there isn't a story behind it, it's very hard for people to kind of get on board and attach to it and feel a certain kind of connection. It's not impossible, but it's really hard to. So like to have that kind of story behind it that you can then bring forth with the illustration, like it leads to a completely different connection like never before.
yeah.
So um, it does also kind of lead into the next question, if I may have, because, you know, again, you have the ability to tell so many of these incredible stories now that you've gone down this journey and you're at this point. So, what if for this next question, Mike, what if we went a little bit above and beyond, if I may? And I give you more or less the dream scenario. Let's say I am Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to you and I'm like, look, Mike, TheStarArts. We could tell that you are a rising star when it comes to this art thing, all right? We've seen what you've been able to put out there, and we just know that even just with the little appetizer, the little taste test that you have, there is so much more we can do with it. We just need to give you a little extra push, a little extra platform to get you to that point. We have access to everyone and anyone in whatever industry possible, and more money than there should be possible. We probably should be, you know, giving that back to animators and artists, making sure they have like a living wage, they're able to have health insurance, all that kind of stuff. Hashtag save with animation forever and always. But right now we're
Oh, yeah.
focusing on you and you alone. We'll focus on them in a little bit, we promise. But we want to take care of you first. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream, the Star Arts project?
Um, kind of crazy. The like, oh, like just the given the opportunity to like
Yes.
just make something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm. It well, it kind of depends.
Okay.
It depends who's asking.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But that's the thing.
I mean, Mr. Moneybags is asking, and he's asking, hey, you have a plethora of stuff that we know could be made into reality? Is there one in particular, or would you like maybe the foundation to make all of those a possibility? Maybe, say, a studio that we can get established and set up so you can go forth and make these things a reality.
Yeah, true. Probably, yeah, have like a studio that like an indie studio that
Mm-hmm.
like can basically like bring um people's ideas. I like how Glitch Productions, as of recently, is a studio like bent on just like getting people's ideas out.
Yes.
I think I'd kind of just make a studio where like people, like, granted we have the money, like people just can go over to me and be like, hey, I have an idea I want to adapt, and just get a team together and do it for them, do it for the creators, um using whatever money we have
Oh yeah.
to make people's like creations like just out there in the world.
So what you're saying is the first person we're gonna go to is we're gonna go to Aiden, and we're gonna finally convince him to finally finish up the webcomic that he's been teasing wanting to do for ages, um, as well as maybe do a little side project with Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3 because we know he's gonna want to do something with that. I'm just kidding. Love you, Aiden.
It's true. It's very true.
It's like, where's the lie, you know?
Nah, that, and also I'd love to adapt my webcomics into animation form.
Right. I mean, I can only imagine, especially with this, because I know I'd seen maybe like a little 5 second loop of Laura dancing or whatnot. So like even that just being like the little taste of like animation, especially for the world that you are presenting or whatnot, bringing that to life in animation. Oh, you are a tease more than anything else.
There is a big Simply Witchtastic animated project
Mm.
that has been up in the air that I'm putting money into.
Oh,
So that's something. I don't know when it will be out, when it's happening, if it's after like basically the comics like first couple, like when as the comics going, or before the comic starts. I don't know, but I it's something that like it's one of my favorite things out
yeah.
of shows. Especially anime. People can probably guess what I want to do as a like a small animation project. It'll be like 2 minutes. Um, but I've got a whole group of friends backing me up on it.
Oh hell yeah.
Um, whenever that may be done. And that will be like probably like the biggest taste of like Simply Witchtastic animated um that we'll have for a good while. Um, Webtoon allows for GIFs, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good step in the right direction, but it's not a full on animated thing like we know you want to be able to put out there.
Yeah, but if I were to be given the opportunity, I'd make a like a studio that's that brings people's creations to life, like literally like one like couple times a year. I'd be what a pitch day.
Yeah.
What are your pitches?
I mean, I will say I do have a connection with the Animation Appreciation Hub, and they occasionally here and there have indie animation pitch night. So I'm just saying, if you're confident enough to get to that point or whatnot, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I can't guarantee anything. I can at least get your name out there. That's the most I can do.
Hell yeah.
But sadly, we do gotta get down from the dream scenario. We have to get back to reality, and I'll ask the ever so generic question: where do you hope to see yourself, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
5 to 10 years from now, probably um either working in the industry, at some of the studios around like my country,
Right.
or like just 5-10 years down the track, probably pretty far into the comics development act of like releasing it. So just like um I can see myself just enjoying the grind of making the comic, and like sort of like maybe like the small fan base I've gathered. Um I don't really like expect to have a big following. I'm content with a small following of just like dedicated fans.
Right.
Because like making the comic is as much about me as it is. It's as much as making it for me than it is for like, oh, I'm making it to gain a popularity. Like,
Obviously, yeah. No, I mean,
um,
especially at this point, regardless, like whether it's at this point or whether you do get that big following or whatnot, especially with a comic like this, with how personal it seems, I would be surprised if you're doing this just for the clicks or just for the views.
mm, yeah, it's a story I want to tell, and like it's just like it may be the only public story I tell, even though I've got like other like fun ideas
Yeah.
that I can sprinkle in if you want. But like there's like yeah, so many ideas. But this is the big one,
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I said,
and
you
who
have
knows how long.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, obviously, like you said, like you have a bunch of ideas that you probably got on the back burner that if you really wanted to, you could have taken the time to go ahead and get that stuff out there in the world. But the fact that this is the project that you want to tackle, this is the one that you want to get out there into the world, speaks volumes more than anything else.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And honestly, like I sincerely hope that again, 5 to 10 years from now, that grind is paying off, and there is that, at least if not, maybe not big, but at least dedicated like fan base and group of people that love and appreciate what you're putting out there. At the end of the day, um,
yeah.
as we start to wind down the interview, Mike, I just have one last question I want to ask you. Obviously, you are deeply entrenched in art in one form or fashion at this point. Like we have established over and over again, what started off as having a fun time watching bonus features on DVD has led you to a field that you are not getting pulled out of anytime soon. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
Art is an expression of one's individual self,
Mm-hmm.
and an expression that is like almost like it's comparable to everything really. Art as just a medium in general, and art is so broad. It can mean drawing, it can mean writing, it can mean music, it can mean just film, like TV, everything about art, everything about art is just perfect representation of the human mind and the human expression. And I think human expression and art and everything about that is just what gets everyone through. Like, imagine a world without movies
Yeah,
or
right?
without music. It's so enriched in culture and society, and just like you see so many people emotionally attached to all these forms of media and expression that like it's inherently human. It's never like, no matter what media, no matter what no matter something someone wants to tell, there will always be at least one other person who resonates with this expression, because it's so tied to human emotion and human drive that like it's it's just something I don't think we can't we it's something, art is something we can't exist without.
I think that is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. Um, Mike, that is once again all the questions I have for you. I've already showered you with Lord knows how much praise at this point, but I'm gonna shower you with a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what I want. Um, Look, I cannot tell you the amount of hype that I have personally had from this episode, mainly because of Aiden. Getting the chance to not only talk to you right now, but even beforehand, getting the chance to really indulge myself into your art, really taking in Simply Witchtastic. Like, I could tell, like, just right off the bat, that there is something special that you're developing more than anything else, and it led me excited to finally get you on here to finally talk about this stuff, because like, especially talking about how much art in general means to you, how much being able to tell stories like in D&D and such really means to you, and how much being able to get those stories out there with this webcomic and stuff. I can tell that there's a lot of love and passion for what you're doing, and it just makes me extremely excited for whatever's going to be happening next. Like, sincerely, like, I don't care if it takes 5, 10, 20, 50 years to tell this story. I want to make sure that you tell this story and you tell it to the end, because I am excited to see where it's going to go. I'm excited to see the world that you're already developing. I'm excited to see the characters that you've already teased, even just for the two that we got, the two, or three-ish that we got right off the bat, seeing how much further, how much more incredible characters can be evolved. And I cannot tell you how invested I am with Alara, and just to see the journey that I know is going to have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And I am ready for my heart to be broken a million different times, but I'm also ready for it at the end of the day. And if this is just the first story, if this is the only story that you get to tell, I will be so happy. If this is only the first of several stories that you get to tell, I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am for what you could potentially be doing, because you got a lot of love and passion and creativity that needs to be unleashed onto the world. I point blank, nothing else. The long and the short of it is, at the end of the day, Mike, thank you for what you do. Thank you for dedicating yourself to this, and thank you for putting yourself out there like you have so far and are continuing to do at the end of the day. And just know that I am one of few right now, but I hope that one day it'll be one of at least a good, dedicated many at the end of the day that's going to love and appreciate and root for you every single step of the way. So thank you, Mike.
Yeah, it's really nice to hear that.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. Plus, you think I would have waited this long to have you on the podcast just to be like, you're gonna be fine. Now, if people want to know why exactly I have been gushing about you for the past hour or so, however long we've been recording this thing, go ahead and plug yourself for the people at home. Where can people find more about you and Simply Witchtastic, among other things?
Well, I guess the elephant in the room is Simply Witchtastic itself.
Mm-hmm.
It is on Webtoon. You can just go onto Webtoon, search up the title name, and it's right there for the prologue just to read. 2 pages, 40 panels.
Yep.
There it is. All good. I'm mostly active on my Instagram account, my Instagram art account, which is at TheStarArts. I'm also on Blue Sky, and I post there regularly as well. Probably over time, more when I start to I guess have people to talk to. I'll be more active on these platforms. At the moment, I'm still small, so I'm just kind of posting art and then just
right.
just being a bit silent. But I'm at my most talkative when I'm promoting my comic, because you can't get anywhere without promotion.
Unfortunately, but also hey, it's a fun thing that you're promoting in the first place. Like, why not? Why not tell the world about it?
Yeah. So there'll be plenty of small animations. I've been making really short form animations of just lip syncs and voice claims and stuff like that, which come and go. Got more. I've still got a massive cast of characters.
Okay.
To show off. No one even knows what the villain is like. Oh. Well, except for my friends. And the villain is something else.
Oh, you're teasing me at this point. Come on.
The villain is very evil and
No.
like, oh no way. This is no like redeemable villain.
Oh
I gotta
wow.
say,
Okay. Okay.
he's um he's straight up um evil person.
Okay.
I'll leave you with his name is Kronos,
Kronos. Okay.
related to Kronos, the Titan of Greek mythology.
Okay.
And it is the naming scheme is the name isn't just because it sounds cool, it is very accurate. Um,
Okay.
Elara is also named after um, a Greek figure.
Okay.
So
You're giving us a lot to chew on the more you get the chance to actually make this thing a reality. I appreciate that more than anything else. And to make sure that people obviously see more of this stuff when the opportunity does arise, I'll be sure to have those links and then some that we talked about in the description below so that people can catch up on the webcomic and keep up with any updates that you may have on your socials more than anything else. Um, do you have any final words before we sign off?
um, well, thanks for having me on here.
All right.
I guess, yeah, for sure. It's been fun to yap. Um,
Look, we here at the Postmodern Art Podcast are essentially professional yappers at this point, so you are more than welcome to come on here and yap. Um,
yeah. Um, no, I'm looking forward to sharing more in the future. Um, wherever that may be. Um, I've tried getting into streaming.
there you
um,
go.
so maybe streaming. Maybe a cool thing to do.
Okay. Okay.
Just sharing comic stuff through streams. With viewers. So that'd be pretty nice to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me know where if there's like a
definitely.
let me know if there's like a Twitch or a YouTube that you stream on so that I can put that in the description as well so people can see
Oh
that when you
yeah,
make that reality.
yeah, no issue. But yeah, no, thanks for having me. This has been really fun. Subscribe to Postmodern Art Podcast.
Look, you don't gotta butter me up at this point, all right? We've already gotten through the recording of the episode. Like you're good, you're good, bud. All right, but I do want to say thank you for taking the opportunity to do this. It is an absolute pleasure, and also I'm just gonna say, Aiden, I hope you're happy with what we talked about because this was absolutely as good as you're hoping it was gonna be. But with that, all I have left to say is for the people at home, if you can, please pay your artists.
Tell me what's wrong, tell me sparks in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can all open. Show me it all, put me up in the car, you go when you used to call. Show me it all.
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Like I said in the intro, Mike is someone that I've been wanting to get on the podcast for a while, especially with the stuff that he's been brewing up. And I'm genuinely excited to see what's going to be happening next with him. Mike, if you've gotten up to this point, thank you so much for your time more than anything else. And thank you for a fun chat. Um, getting the chance to talk to people like Mike or, people that are seemingly just getting their foot in the door when it comes to what they could potentially do. It has me excited more than anything. Especially in today's art world, it seems like there are so many artists that pop up out of nowhere, or there some that come and go. You see them for a second, then they're gone. But to see someone that's truly like getting their foot in the door, getting their name out there, to be one of the people that helps kind of let them know more than anything else, hey, I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible, and I sincerely cannot wait to see what else you do. It's one of the things that I live for when it comes to this podcast. I know a lot of the guests that I bring on here, they have a very well established audience in one form or fashion, but it's always exciting to see what's new out there, to see what I personally have never seen before, and to really invest myself in their worlds, invest myself in their passions more than anything else. Even if they don't get as big of an audience as some of the guests I've had on this podcast, the fact that they have as much, if not more, passion than any other guests on the podcast is what excites me more than anything else. Especially with Mike talking about what he wants to do with Simply Witchtastic and the world that he's even just teasing with that prologue. I mean, it has me excited for whatever's going to be happening next. It has me excited to see how far his passion can really take him in one form or fashion. And I hope you guys got a good taste of that with today's episode, as well as just about any other guest that I've been able to bring on this podcast. It's that excitement and it's that passion that really drives these conversations more than anything else, and really drives me to keep putting out these episodes in one form or fashion. And I sincerely hope, again, you guys get a sense of that with just about every single conversation, whether this is your first one or this is one of several hundred that you've gotten a chance to see at this point. I hope that passion not only shines through in the conversation, but inspires you to explore your passion and to explore the art that you want to see out in the world. See out there in the world. Sorry, I fumbled that last little bit. Regardless, I guess the long and the short of it is, let that passion shine bright at the end of the day. Let that passion be a guiding light for whatever you do, and just go out there and create something incredible.